Hi there, it's Ruth Backlund from Energy Works Myofascial Release. Coming back to you today to do a follow-up of the stretches that I did after working out really long hours this past weekend, working on a compost bin in my backyard. I probably spent 8 hours between Saturday and Sunday both. So I had 4 main stretches that I did to relieve some of the tight muscles and just the overworking that I did this weekend. But I tend to do that, you know, weekend warriors, we're all out there. We got to get it done sometime, right? So the second of the stretches that I did is what I wanted to show you today. And it's one that I do a lot of times with a workout routine, but it's one that you can not only turn into just a post-workout routine, but you can also incorporate it into a myofascial stretch. So I'm going to show you both. Basically, I'm going to run through what I did and the reason why I would hold a position longer depended on how tight I was in that spot. So started out with just some real basic active stretching and then went into a myofascial stretch. So I'm going to show you what that is. I'm going to start with a child pose, but I'm going to modify it in a couple different ways. And that's what I did during my overworking and then post stretching this weekend. So that's what I'm going to show you. So hopefully I can get on the screen here. I'm going to drop this down just a little bit. Drop this down so that you can actually see me in the frame while I'm doing this stretch. So, all right, that ought to do it. So I'm going to just wiggle back here a little bit. So the first thing I want to do is I have my feet together, okay? I'm going to sit. You can barely see me there. Hi. I'm going to sit on my feet at this point. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lean myself forward and let my arms just slide forward and let my head drop. So that would be your traditional child pose. I think I'm going to have to adjust that camera a little bit. I can see like I'm cutting my head off. But that's your traditional child pose, is just to come down, sink your seat to your heels, and then stretch forward. Now what I did in addition to that is I wanted to stretch out the sides of my body. So after I did that, then I actually rotate to one side, and so I can actually stretch the side of my body or this side of my body. And to do that, I come forward, I stretch out, and then I walk my hands over to the side. And so I'm actually stretching this back side, and I want to drop this part of my seat down. So I'm actually stretching my arms and the side of my body all at once. So you can see that's actually a really good stretch for the side of the body. And then I repeated it on the other side. But because I also worked my hips a lot, what I want to do is I want to actually open my knees up a little further so I can sink in. And I let myself stretch even further. So I can feel this in my low back. I can feel this in my hips. Again, I'm getting my arms in place. And again, if I wanted to, I could walk my hands over to one side and I could stretch and really sink in. So those are the 4 things that I did. I'm going to come back up here. I know this is kind of goofy. Bring this back up here. So those are the 4 things that I did basically to stretch out my back, my hips, the sides of my bodies, and my shoulders, was to go down in that child pose, stretch straight on, then walk my arms over to the side and stretch that way. And then I came back and did the other side. And then I went forward again, but with my knees farther open so I could really sink in and really open up my hips. And then again, I could walk my hands over to the side, really sink into that stretch, and then go to the other side and sink in. Now the difference between that active stretching or just a post-workout stretch and a myofascial stretch is I would want to stay in one place for at least 3 to 5 minutes. And that's what I did for some of the side stretches, is I stayed there for 3 to 5 minutes just to really get a nice, long, engaging stretch. And even though I was working on the side of my body, my hips were really tight, and the hips were getting that nice, long myofascial stretch as well. So hopefully that's helpful. Couldn't tell on the screen if I was cutting my head off or not. I hope not, but whatever. It is what it is. So anyway, that's my second of the 4 things that I did after overworking this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, give me a shout out. I'll be happy to talk to you.